Natural from Steel Panther. You're listening to Metal Stream Radio with Metal Matt, and he's totally naked from the waist down.
Hello and welcome to the second hour of the Metal Matt Show. And as I was saying on the beginning of the first show, heading to Spain soon, going to be very exciting, going to Madrid and Barcelona. Just for a week, it's going to be a fleeting visit, but my first time there, so excited to see what it's all about, you know. I think there's a big church or cathedral or something that's well known in Barcelona, so I think we're visiting there. I think my wife sorted us out tickets to check that out. I wasn't that bothered because I don't want to pay money to look around a church. It should be free, that kind of thing. I think, you know, it's for the people. It's supposed to be, but there we go. But yeah, but at least we're gonna see it. I was happy to see it from the outside, but you know, we'll see how it is. Yeah, but on this last hour, the final hour of the Metal Matt Show, I'll be playing quite a mixture of stuff, you know. We're going to play a lot of heavy metal songs, which I think you'll love. Bit of Motorhead, bit of maybe Judas Priest, Venom, maybe Accept. Going to play it by ear. I'm going to go with what I feel. So it's going to be a surprise to what you're going to hear. So we'll get into some music in a second. But yeah, it's great to kind of be able to travel a little bit. It's only going to be a little trip. I'm going back to England as well, so you know, back to my normality for a while, which is going to be weird because I've been in Mexico for like 2 years now, just about, in one whole trip. I've been here longer than that, back and forth a little bit, but yeah, 2 whole years because I got my permanent residency, so I've been able to stay longer, and it's been an interesting experience. I've just been to the shop to get an avocado, and I think they probably taste a lot better here. When I go back to England, probably be a bit of a change. So it's things like that I'll miss. The great avocados and mangoes that you get here, all that kind of stuff. Amazing, you know, natural stuff that's grew here, you know, straight from what do they call it, from field to plate or whatever, that kind of thing, you know. Very natural. And I don't think they spray the hell out of it like they do with all the American stuff and the English stuff. You know, it's better for you, you know, more natural stuff. There's a lot of food here which isn't so natural. The American stuff's filtered in a bit, and, you know, a lot of the food is high in fat and grease and stuff, you know, empanadas and all that kind of stuff, sopes, all that stuff is all kind of fried stuff, but they do put kind of like lettuce and stuff on there, but I tend not to eat too much of that because it's, for me, that would be a difficult thing to eat that every day, that kind of stuff. So I try and eat what's normal to me, I guess, what I'm used to a lot, but also, you know, I enjoy the Mexican cuisine. There's a real, you know, there's a lot to it. It's not all kind of fatty stuff, but it's the quick stuff, you know, the breakfast stuff and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of kind of fried stuff, the empanadas and things like that. But you also get like pozole, which is like a soup broth kind of thing. That's very kind of good and healthy. And the tamales is great. That's like wrapped in a banana leaf. You can buy that as like a street food as well. You know, there's always people sat out with big tin things selling tamales and stuff. Just on the streets by the Oxos. Oxos like a shop you get here. So you can always get a tamales, and they have like mole tamales. Mole is like a traditional Mexican thing from Puebla, I believe. It's like this it's a type of chicken and a sauce. The sauce is the mole. It's a special sauce which has tons of like ingredients and spices, and only if you're a true kind of, you know, Mexican person can make that, you know. It's a really traditional dish, you know. I don't know if it comes from the Mayan kind of stuff. It probably does, or it could have been later, I don't know, but it's a very traditional food here, you know. And you get the best stuff in Puebla, Mexico City and stuff, but here you can get that stuff inside a tamales, and tamales is like I said, it's wrapped in banana leaf. It's kind of like a dumpling almost, but different, but that's the closest thing I can describe it as. It's like a dumpling, but kind of a gelatinous dumpling with chicken inside, and pollo chicken, yeah, and like I say, sometimes you'll have a mole sauce in there, or sometimes it's just kind of plain, just the chicken inside, but they give you like this verde roja roja sauce, red sauce. Like a salsa, it's usually just tomato, but sometimes there's like a slightly spicier one, which is very nice. I like my picante stuff. I like my spicy stuff. Doesn't always agree with me. I don't go too crazy because certain sauces I'm okay. Other sauces make me feel sick because it's just too much chilies and stuff. I'm just not used to it as a British guy. But I love my spicy stuff, you know. I eat a ton of spice. And I find the green spice stuff, which I think is habanero, is generally okay with me, you know. But the red stuff is kind of, I think my body just hasn't evolved for that kind of chili. It's just gives you a lot of heartburn and stuff like that. It makes you feel pretty bad, you know. Like I say, I feel like I need to be sick sometimes with that chili. So I steer clear. I've had to learn what to stay away from a little bit in Mexico. But like I say, I'm going back to England, so it's going to be back to like Weatherspoons and, you know, all the stuff we got there. Just, you know, not as bad a food as people make out, you know. I mean, Weatherspoons is certainly not the pinnacle, but it's a good little quick food place, you know. But obviously I go other places, as you know. My main thing is, you know, try an Asian cuisine. I like the udon noodles and that kind of thing. I like that kind of stuff. So I guess that'd be like Wagamama. But there's more authentic places than the chains, you know. It's always nice to find little quiet places in Bath. I know there's some, me and my friend found a nice place in Bath, a little authentic Thai cuisine place once, and had a nice seafood soup broth thing, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. England's great for stuff like that. It's kind of quite diverse in culture, really, although we get a lot of kind of talk of, you know, England, you know, we want England to be England, all this, especially lately, you know, there's no denying England is made up of a diverse kind of culture, you know, because we love the Chinese. We always get a Chinese on a Friday night, you know, go to the Chinese takeaway, or we'll get a curry, go for the curry, to the curry house for a curry, and, you know, all these things are important kind of part of British culture. And, you know, we're often talked about how the food is kind of bland in England. People often say it's bland, but I think they're just eating the wrong things. I mean, there's nothing bland about the Sunday roast, is there? Anyone who knows, or the carvery, all that kind of stuff is, you know, very delicious, you know. And then we got pies, I guess, are quite big in England, you know. Never my favourite of pie, but since I've been living here, I've missed them. It's funny the things you miss when you're away from it, you know. Certainly miss Marmite. I love Marmite. You either love it or hate it. My wife hates it. She does not get the craze on that. I guess it's so different from anything in Mexico. I don't think there's many Mexicans who would get on board with Marmite. I'd like to do a test, you know. Try more people with it, but I know my wife hates it. But I love it. I just love that strong flavour. But it's funny, supermarkets often do their own brand instead of the actual brand. You know, they just do yeast extract and stuff. And I find that stuff often tastes better than the actual Marmite, you know. So, yeah, it's funny. You can get more alternatives in England. You don't have those options in Mexico. It's kind of, you don't get all these kind of brand changes like fake versions of stuff. You do with maybe Oreos and stuff like that here. Like you might get biscuits which are like tried to make look like Oreos, but I don't get the craze with Oreo at all. It's really weird. Nothing good about Oreos to me. I think if that's the highlight of American stuff, it shows that their chocolate and their stuff, they really haven't tasted the real thing. Because if you're from England and you've had English candy and chocolate, I don't think anyone would vote Oreo as anything special, you know. But America, they go crazy for that. And even here, they love it. But yeah, so you see a few alternatives of Oreos here and stuff, but not like England where you can get like so many cheaper alternatives to well-known food, you know. That's one thing I do like about England, that, you know, if you're after something but you don't want to spend full price on it, there are plenty of alternatives. And also, I don't know, it's quite good that you've got options for different types of cuisine. In Mexico, I find I have to spend a lot of money just on a supermarket shop, and it's kind of like pack of chicken, £20, cheese, £15 for a big block of cheese. You know, you can kind of buy in bulk, but it still adds up a lot, you know. It's just too much, you know. It's too expensive, certainly where I'm living anyway, which I never anticipated, you know. So I'm kind of looking forward to a more laid-back life in England with less financial strain, and I can focus on my music and hopefully get in the studio and record some stuff and know that I don't have to, you know, waste so much money on supermarket shops and just simple things. Simple things in England did not make me broke, you know, whereas in Mexico it's like, you know, that one supermarket shop and it's like, oh, better not spend for a week after that, you know, kind of thing. Better not do anything, you know, kind of thing. That's kind of how it is here. It's a simpler life. I enjoy the simple life here, and that's kind of what I aimed for. I always like the documentaries in Mexico where people are just laid back and, you know, I mean, they're really hard working in Mexico. Some of the hardest working people, they're working 6 days a week for very little money. It's insane, actually, the money comparison of what we make abroad, you know. But they're always happy, they're always working hard. But also there's that laid back thing as well, which I see, where people are just chilling and enjoying their company, their family, you know, just more family orientated thing. And I just like that laid back kind of approach to life, and where they're not chasing the next buck, you know. In England and America, you know, it's like a rat race, and the cities particularly, you know, big rat race, trying to compete with each other, trying to make money, and no time to enjoy it. You know, here it's like they don't make a whole lot, but they enjoy what they do make, and they make sure their days off are special, and kind of they have carne asada, which is barbecue as we know it, every week. You know, a lot of people I know, every week or every other week they're having a barbecue, and it's nice. I like it, you know. Musically, it's been an interesting experience for me to keep it to the music, because we are on the Metal Match show for Metal Stream Radio. So, you know, don't worry, there will be plenty of music this hour. Got some good stuff lined up. But to give you some background, you know, musically, it's been a challenge. It's been up and down for me here. It's been, I mean, I've had some of my best experiences here musically. I've been asked to sing in bands various times, and I've done a lot of cover stuff where they've called me in to just do a tribute. We never got enough time to practice and learn the songs. It was always rushed, so I wasn't particularly happy with the results of the performances. It was all a bit rushed, and I didn't get a chance to perfect anything or even get the songs to sink in. So I was up on the stage singing stuff which hadn't really sunk in, especially the musical arrangements, because when you're with a band, it's like you need to remember every little thing. If there's a guitar solo or there's just a slight delay in the song, like you think it's going to go into the verse, but they do some extra few bars, you know, you mess that up and it messes up the song. So it was immense pressure, I found, singing in bands. I think if I was singing songs I really loved and I had time to practice it, and, you know, if it was like a real band thing, but it was more like stepping in, let's do a gig, you know, get paid and get out of there kind of thing. But it was just too rushed, too I don't know, it wasn't the material I wanted to be singing for one, so there was a lot of stuff I had to learn instead of catering to stuff I already know, because I've got a lot of songs I know. It was all about me learning, you know, 20 songs in a week and then having to sing it at the end of the week. That's basically how it was with every show I was doing. And I mean, it was some good tributes we did. We did Marilyn Manson, we did Ozzy, a lot of Ozzy stuff, and one Dio and Ozzy thing. But the thing is, I love Ozzy, I love Dio, I love Manson, but I've never tried to sing every song. You know, Manson could have been good, because I did listen to a lot of Manson growing up, but that was kind of rushed, and I couldn't hear myself on stage, didn't have any ear monitors, the sound was absolute shit in the venue, and I just couldn't hear anything, you know. I think the outside was fine, but I ended up just blowing my voice out on the first couple of songs, and yeah, it was pretty bad show. But you've got to have these bad shows as part of a learning curve, and it's, you know, to me it was never that important, because my main thing is my own original music. That's what I want to do, you know. I want to kind of make music, be creative, actually literally creative, not just cover other people's stuff. I like to put covers out on my channels and stuff, and I like to do a good cover where I collaborate with people and stuff, but doing covers in a band, you know, it's like, what is it you're doing really? It's fun, but it's meaningless, you know. It doesn't mean anything, so never appealed to me that much. But I'd love to really do a good tribute, like to Judas Priest or something. Ozzy, I've always said nobody can really sing Ozzy, nobody can get that voice. You look at the Back to the Beginning show and nobody really nailed Ozzy, you know, his voice or anything, or his songs. They did an okay version of his songs that people were paying tribute, but you wouldn't listen to it, you know, you wouldn't keep going back. You'd only listen to it the once, and then that's it, you know. It's Ozzy's always going to be superior, so I never really wanted to sing Ozzy. It's kind of within my voice, but not, the range is kind of there in my voice, but also the way he sings is weird, you know. He's got a weird way of singing, and unless you do it weird, it's weird. Yeah, it's the wrong kind of weird, you know. You want to sound good weird with Ozzy, you want to kind of nail that kind of Sharon, you know, that what does he sing? Finish with my woman, you know. You want to kind of get that kind of lazy thing, but you can't really impersonate that and make it sound authentic, you know. So you got to sing it literally, like, finish with my woman, 'cause she couldn't help me with my mind, which sounds okay, but then some of the songs are more complex, you know, and some of the songs you really want to hear that Ozzy voice. So it's, yeah, to me, I'm like, I don't really want to do an Ozzy tribute because it's not going to be that good, but I did it. And the Manson tribute could have been good, but I didn't hear myself on stage. The Dio tribute was okay, but we didn't have enough time to practice, you know. Every show, kind of, we just didn't practice enough, and there wasn't enough time to let the songs sink in. So, yeah, it was not so good for me, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I experienced, you know, and had the demand. It's good to come to another country and have people actually want you and request you to sing with them. And it was fun for a while, but it certainly lost its appeal. It's not something I care about. I don't care about getting on the stage. I haven't got anything to prove anymore. You know, I think you need to get on the stage and want to prove yourself. I mean, I would if it was doing something I really wanted to do. That's why I'd get up on a stage, singing stuff I believe in, you know. Judas Priest tribute would be a lot of fun to me, but nobody wants to do that for some reason. But getting up and singing stuff I really don't want to sing, and, you know, with the wrong kind of people and stuff, it doesn't appeal to me, you know. I'd rather be comfortable and, you know, do what I enjoy doing, which is making songs, writing songs, and put my main focus into that. That's kind of where I feel it's important as an artist to actually be an artist. I mean, I consider myself a real artist, and not in an egotistic way, but in the way that I'm not satisfied by just playing other people's stuff. And I've done a lot of stuff online, you know, covering Judas Priest and different stuff, but that's because I can sing it well and I want to showcase my voice. But really, it's all about getting people to check out my own stuff. It's like, yeah, wow, he sings Painkiller good, let's check out the King of Hearts, let's check out Burn the Priest, Changes in You, you know, my own songs. That's what I'm hoping for. That's kind of the goal. I'm not trying to be like, look how good I am at singing like someone else. I enjoy singing those songs. I know I'm never going to be that person. You know, I may use clickbait titles now and again, like sings like whoever, rock star, you know. Check out this guy, sings like, you know, Roberto or whatever, you know. But really, it's just, you know, it's just a way of getting the covers out there. I'm happy. I want people to enjoy the covers, but covers are never something that matters so much, you know, unless I'm collaborating maybe with band members from famous bands and stuff, and we're doing a proper project, which I have done a few times, and that is meaningful for me, and I release that on my platforms as an actual release, you know, a cover release, but it's out there on all the platforms because it's a high production kind of thing, you know. But as for covers where I'm just singing at home and just, you know, putting it out on the channel that I've got, I feel like that's just fun, and trying to give people something to watch and enjoy, and then hopefully people will check out my own songs. I think that's the goal, and that should always be the goal as an artist, to kind of try and get people to see what you're doing, and also to try and always do something different, always ever evolving maybe. I mean, some bands are good at sticking with one thing. You look at Iron Maiden, they've really only ever done one kind of thing. Maybe a bit different with Paul Di'Anno, which is probably why I like that stuff a lot. It's cool stuff, and yeah, I like the Bruce stuff. He's a great singer, but the Paul Di'Anno stuff really always resonated with me more, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you got Black Sabbath. They did some Dio stuff with Dio, which I love. I love the Dio Sabbath albums. I feel that was cool because it showed a different side to them, and I feel it works so well. People are hesitant of different vocalists with bands, but sometimes it can really work, and Dio is no exception, and that's why we're going to listen now to Children of the Sea by Black Sabbath.
Reaching for the stars, we blind the sky. We sail across the air before we learn to fly. We thought that it could never end.
we have Black Sabbath, Children of the Sea. Fantastic song. Really love the power, you know, great power in Dio's voice. Always a great album, that one. That was one of the albums that I remember fondly as a teenager and growing up. Always loved that. That was always a fun one. And also another band I always loved was Motorhead, and I always wanted to see them live. They used to come to Bristol a lot, but never got the opportunity to see them because I was too young, and then unfortunately Lemmy passed away, but always loved them. This is one of my favourite songs, Killed by Death. So enjoy. I'm sure you know this one, guys.
They
There we go. As we're playing some great heavy fucking metal today, we're going to be playing some more now with some Saxon, fantastic band. I think they were the new wave of British heavy metal. And they're fantastic. Biff Bifford, great voice, fantastic player, singer even, and fantastic players in the band. I met them actually before a Judas Priest show at Epitaph 2012, London, Hammersmith Apollo. They were supporting them, and it was a fantastic show. It's actually the show that was on the Epitaph DVD, so it was cool to see a proper show like that, and Saxon supporting. Saxon just rolled in taxis and left in taxis, and Biff had his window down, sticking his thumb up when he was leaving, and saying bye to everyone. Really down to earth, really cool guys, easy to meet and get a photo with and autographs and stuff. And they rock, they're one of the bands that never kind of made it quite as big, I guess, as other bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and stuff, but they're one of those bands people know and love. I hear a lot about them out here in Mexico, actually, among the real heavy metal fans out here, They all love Saxon. They got the Saxon patches, and they hold them as highly as they do the other bands I mentioned. So let's get into a great bit of Princess of the Night.
She used to be an iron horse 20 years ago. Used to bring the mail to me through the ice and snow. I've sat alone and watched her steaming through the night. 90 tons of thunder lighting up the sky. She was the princess of the night. We saw the writing on the wall. She was the princess of the night. I take a ride across the sky. Speeding smokestack lightning
we go. Princess of the Night. Great song. That was always my favourite Saxon. And now we're going to have an underappreciated Judas Priest song. A little song called Jugulator. mean, how brutal is that? That's the Ripper Owens stuff with Judas Priest. Yeah, a fantastic scream and fantastic screamer. I mean, those notes, no denying he's absolutely killing it. I think, yeah, great replacement for Rob Halford. It was, you know, a different kind of style, but he was a screamer, you know, he could hit all the notes, you know, he still can, you know, he's still killing it now with KK's Priest and his own projects and stuff. Yeah, I think that stuff, yeah, truly underappreciated. It should be all available because it's just great music, you know. I mean, it shows a different contrast to Judas Priest. You know, Judas Priest have always been about evolving, trying different things, and, you know, they're really missing out if they don't have those albums readily available for the fans, you know, because I'm sure a lot of people kind of appreciate that. It's not all about Halford, you know. There's some great stuff with Ripper. Obviously, the Halford stuff's what we all fell in love with, but, you know, it's still a period of Priest that needs to be kind of heard, you know. Just a killer song, you know. If we're just listening to it for the pure musicianship and the vocalist, it's got everything you could want, you know. Really, really cool stuff. So yeah, anyway, it's really hot today. It's like feels like 40 degrees, it told me on my phone of the temperature. I don't know what it actually is. It's 30 something, but feels like 40s, and I can tell you it certainly does. I'm sweating away here. It's yeah, I'm looking forward to doing my shows from England because I don't think it'd be this intense. It'd be a little bit more chill, you know. But yeah, so yeah, exciting times. Lots of things happening. I'm hoping myself I'm gonna have some new music coming out over the next few months. I'm hoping to get in the studio, do something cool. Haven't been in the studio to do something cool for a while. I want to do an original, which is, you know, hopefully full production. I'm going to work on that. Hopefully get something sorted when I'm in England and have a nice little surprise for you guys coming in the near future. So yeah, it's all going good. Great to be here on Metal Stream Radio. I love being here and rocking with you guys. We'll play something new now, something that's kind of just popping up. This is Echo Vandal with Molly.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Eka Vandal with Molly. Really good song. Quite a new one. I'm not always listening to new metal and rock and all that kind of thing, but yeah, I really dig what she's doing. She's got a cool groove, unique, very cool. And now we're going to play an Alice Cooper song from Zipper Catches the Skin. This is quite early Alice, I guess. Not mega early, but kind of a weird period. The album cover has him with his hair slicked back and not a kind of familiar Alice, you know, quite a different thing. And the whole album's very kind of surreal. A lot of weird songs on it. And this one I always love. This is Make That Money, Scrooge's song. So yeah, check out this. It's great.
When I was a boy, I never played with toys. Never had a friend, never laughed or cried much. And when I was a boy,
My father was a man with a strict and sturdy hand, no soft touch. Make that money! Make that money! Make that money run like honey on your tongue. Gotta make that money! Make that money! Listen, some advertising before you're stung. Now that I'm a man, every penny has been planned. I am financially grand and perfectly greedy. Sentimental fools, I make all your rules. I've got your cash or jewels, they're a mortgage to me. Make that money, make that money, make that money run like honey on your tongue. Gotta make that money, make that money. Listen, sonny, learn to sting before you're stung. And I know, 'cause he told me so. Told me so. I believe now. I still believe. Give me that money. Controlling all your cash, I could make you live in trash. I eat pheasant, you eat hash. No philanthropy. But when it's time for me to croak, bury me with all my dough. And where there should have been an oak, my private money tree will grow. Make that money! Then make that money. Make that money run like honey on your tongue. Told me so. Told me so. He told me so.
And there we go with Make That Money Run Like Honey on Your Tongue. I love that song. As a kid, I used to play that song. Brings back a lot of memories. It's amazing how music can, you know, really bring back memories, you know, from a time you kind of forgot, you know, because it's so long ago. But you hear a song, you know, I grew up with that song. That was one I always used to love, always heard. And yeah, I love Alice Cooper. I love his versatility and just there's something special there. Again, his kind of voice and music kind of scratches your brain or whatever they call it, you know. It, definitely something about Alice that's just so good. And it's more of a deeper voice, you know. Higher voices, you kind of think you can understand why certain frequencies of a high voice might really do it for you. But a low voice. Also, you know, I guess it's almost like that ASMR where they're whispering and stuff, that kind of voice. You know, Alice has kind of got that deeper voice, but I don't know, there's something, I think there's more than that, but there's certainly an element of just his voice really hitting the right spots. But as a showman and everything, he's just fantastic. But we come to the end of the show. This went fast today. But we played some great music. I'll be back next week and the week after and the week after that. Lots of Metal Match shows to come. Always try and keep it interesting. We have rock star interviews and all sorts of things here. But before I go, I'll read out the latest news in metal. Testament's Alex Skolnick, AC/DC's Angus Young, deserves a lot more credit for being a really fantastic musician. And then we got Skillet's John Cooper. I've gone through quite a lot in the last couple of years, and lies have been said about me. We got Poison, Ricky Rocket. Today marks exactly 10 years cancer-free. Brilliant. That's a great thing. It's amazing when people can overcome that. It's a horrible thing. And then sad news, L7 bassist Jennifer Finch diagnosed with aggressive brain cancer. Sorry, it's not the most upbeat news today, but I'm just reading what there is here. Blaze Bayley would love to attend Iron Maiden's Rock Hall induction ceremony, and I'm sure he will. That's the good thing about Maiden, and compared to other bands, they actually respect their past members and kind of, you know, give them some honours. Like Blaze appeared at the Iron Maiden thing recently, the showing in London of their movie. He was there as a part of it all. And also they've just had this Maiden Fest, which a friend of mine has went to, which I'll probably talk to him soon and let you guys know how it all was. He loved it, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he says all about it. But yeah, he also played there, and they kind of honour the Blaze Bayley era of Iron Maiden, and also Maiden themselves will be playing. And, you know, what a great festival. I wish other bands would kind of take heed and do that kind of thing, because it's really cool. There's lots of cancer news today. I don't know why, I'm just reading what's here. But Cole Chambers, Mickey Cox says his latest cancer-related surgery was a massive success. Well, that's good news. Great to see some positives here. Hopefully it's the last one, he says. Finger at 11, we're friends who have a band. We're not a band who are trying to be friends. I think that's very important. One of the things I've found is, if you try and make things work with people who it ain't working with, it can be very difficult. It's like a dysfunctional relationship, you know. You want to be in a band with people who are on the same page, really. Sometimes I think good things can happen from a bit of rivalry, but, you know, if it's really difficult to be in a band with people, I don't know if it's worth it. I think that's why a lot of these people, like Morrissey left the Smiths and John Lydon left the Pistols or whatever. I don't know if he left or he was kicked out or it just disbanded. I don't know, but he's doing his own stuff. Lots of these people do their own stuff away from the bands what they were originally famous for, you know. We've got Alice Cooper announces fall 2026 North American leg of Alice's Attic Tour. I think that's just where he tells stories and stuff. I think he may have a book or something, which would be cool. He's always great to listen to, Alice, just telling his stories. I'm sure that's worth getting a ticket to that. Tom Morello announces passing of his 102-year-old mother, Mary Morello. I did see something about that come up on Instagram, a picture of an older lady that passed away. I was trying to figure out if it was probably his mum. I thought it might have been, but 102, I never would have guessed. You'll have to look her up, look on his page, because she does not look 102. That's a great age to get to. And yeah, I think that's it with the main metal news this week. So we'll be back next week, Metal Match Show on Metal Stream Radio. Throughout the week, there's lots of other cool stuff going on, so be sure to tune in throughout the week. Always great stuff here on the station. We're keeping it real, we're keeping it metal, and who else can say that? Nobody. So you know where to come, Metal Stream Radio every week. I'm here every Friday and Saturday, 6 p.m. GMT. You can listen all around the world, so that's the fun of online radio. You can reach whoever wants to tune in, you're welcome, and we welcome you to the station. So yeah, come on board and join the crazy train, because we're going to be playing a lot of heavy metal all the time. So see you later, guys. Keep it rocking. I'll tune in after I've been to Spain and let you know how it all went. See you guys. Bye.
Hey, this is Satchel from Steel Panther. You're listening to Metal Stream Radio with Metal Matt, and he's totally naked from the waist down.